Hi, welcome viewers. Welcome to DOL, Dignity of Labor KTP series, Know the Profession. Today we have the profession management. Meet with us. Hi, Meet.
Hey Mahendra, thank you so much for having me.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah. Before starting, we just want a quick introduction. Like, how did you end up in this profession of product management?
Sure. So basically, I did my schooling in Gujarat.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to do my BTech in computer science from IIT Kanpur.
Nice.
Spent 4 years there, and next I decided to do an MBA from IIMA Ahmedabad.
Mm-hmm.
So like the reason behind my the reason why I wanted to do an MBA majorly was that I wanted to explore what all is there. So
Okay.
doing a BTech, um, like while doing engineering, your point of view is very limited.
Correct.
You are like mostly, involved in the subjects that are related to your area.
Pure coding. Yeah. Yeah.
Correct. So
Cool.
I wanted to explore a bit more before I decide what I want to do further in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that like an MBA might give me that worldview of what all is out there before deciding. So that's how.
Like during engineering, it's more like core subjects, and then you wanted to know the
Exactly.
business perspective and
Correct.
see
Yeah.
what are all there for you.
Correct.
Okay. So how was your recruitment process in IIMA for the product management?
Oh, perfect. So yeah, as I said, like the MBA was an exploration for me,
Mm-hmm.
and what I wanted to do. So I was always interested in technology,
Mm-hmm.
but like during my internships in my undergrad, what I realized was like being a software developer, you don't really get to choose what you do. It's more like you are given a set of requirements that you have to like
Follow through.
basically
Yeah.
follow and
Need
build
those.
that product,
Correct.
but you are not the driver, right?
Correct.
So what I wanted to do was see if there's like a role that fits this technology perspective,
Mm-hmm.
but gives me that control over the direction of the product that I'm building.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to check out. And that's so like the great part coming back to the B school was where I realized where I found out this profession called product management for the first time. I was introduced to it, and I thought that like the internship time period that we have might be the best way for me to explore and really see whether it's the right profession for me. So I applied for a few product management companies during my internship time,
Mm-hmm.
and like got selected to Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to the interview process and the recruitment process, like after the resume shortlisting, we had a group case round.
Okay.
So what happens is you're given a product design question usually.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, you're told that okay, design an educational solution for toddlers.
Okay.
That's the problem statement that I had gotten. So you're like a group of 7 8 people, and like every 5 to 10 minutes, someone from the team, recruiting team, would come to you, see your progress. You have to, you'll get like 1 minute to explain what all have you thought through,
Okay.
and how are you going to proceed further in the 20 minutes that you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll give you some course corrections, give you some advice, and then they'll move away.
Okay.
Then a different person will come after the next 5 minutes or 10 minutes,
Okay.
and you have to quickly explain to them all the progress that you've made till then and like future. So it's more like quickly demonstrating how you are thinking and asking the right questions, because you have just 1 minute with that person.
Yeah.
Is like absolutely important.
Most precise time.
Most precise, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
So after that round, they like shortlist 20 25% of candidates for interviews. We had like 3 to 4 rounds of interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Not very long rounds, usually 20-minute long.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 3 rounds were more around like interesting product statements that they could find from my work experience before.
Okay.
So from my internships, my projects that I've done in my undergrad. And the last round was a round with with a very senior person, like a partner usually, and just to like assess where I want to be in life, just talking casually and seeing if I'm the right fit for the firm or not.
Knowing you more about
Knowing me more, exactly, correct. So that's how the process usually is.
So if someone has to understand PM, like product management as a profession or the role, like can you briefly explain any example, like this is what it starts and where it ends?
Sure. So like as a product manager, like there's this phrase that's usually used for product managers. We are the CEOs of the product, but just the difference is the CEO has real influencing power. You have to be the driver for your product without really having any influencing authority over the people you're working with, right? So like that's in a nutshell what a product manager does.
Okay.
So basically, what you have to do is anything and everything under the sun that's required to make your product a success, you have to do.
Okay.
So throughout the product development life cycle, there are various stages, right?
Correct. Yeah.
First of all, you will see what the pain point is there that your product is trying to solve. You'll talk to a lot of customers to figure out the pain point. You'll do a
Correct.
lot of background research, right?
Agreed.
To find the right problem to solve. That like the product development starts there.
Yeah.
Then once you have found that, the next stage is rallying all the stakeholders involved to build that product, right?
Okay.
So you start with research and like background research, customer research, etc.
And
Then you move to the
competition.
execution phase, wherein you work with engineering and design mostly to finalize what is the product that you want to build and actually build the product. So that execution phase involves a lot of discussions and dealing with these stakeholders. And then the next stage is okay, now the product is ready, you have to launch it to the market. So the next stage is the go to market, and where you work a lot with marketing team,
Correct.
right? Once the product is out there, then you try to optimize the product to achieve the relevant metrics that you had set at the start.
Okay.
Deal with the leadership, right? And like optimize the product, and like sometimes finance might also be involved if your product is in the revenue wala phase. But yeah, the interesting thing is like this profession, product management, like even though the way I just quoted it, like as an umbrella, you are the CEO of a product throughout the development life cycle, but like it the role actual role can change a lot based on the product that you're working in, right?
Yeah.
So like it could be a very niche product, right? And you're trying to build a market. So the type of product manager required there is very different compared to you are working on an established product, right?
Yeah.
You have tons of customers, you want to keep them happy. That's a different type of product manager. So like yeah,
Like it's like already people know the brand, know the product.
Exactly.
You need to make them little more happy.
Correct. Yeah.
It's like marginal. Like I already had several apples.
Exactly.
You just give me another piece, I am happy. But then
Exactly.
agreed.
Exactly.
So like you mentioned, like the entire life cycle of a product. Like what is that one critical thing that you happen to see post the product is being launched?
Got it. So as I said, right, typically we set the metrics that we want to achieve, the success metrics at the start of the development. And like more often than not, these metrics are optimistic assumptions or hypotheses that we have based on the data. And you might not meet those, right? So as I said, like a very important part. So like my manager puts it the best. He says that as a product manager, you might think your work is mostly in the execution and customer research. It's not true.
Okay.
Your actual work starts once the product has shipped. Right.
Correct.
So that's when you really have to look, what is the thing that we are missing? Why are we not achieving the targets that we had set, and try to course correct. And that's oftentimes difficult because you have a baseline already established for the product, and now you have to course correct that. So that's the challenge and the interesting part also of the profession.
Like, challenges are all the time interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
Agreed. So, like you have explained the role and all. So, how does your day starts and ends, and how does that go?
Sure. I'll take a stab at that. So like as a product manager, since we have to deal with a lot of stakeholders, there are a lot of meetings on my calendar all the time. So a typical day might look like, so currently I'm working on a product which is in the like brainstorming strategy phase, right? Yeah. So I am dealing a lot, like we have a lot of brainstorming discussions with our engineering team, our design team, and we like I have a lot of customer conversations as well lined up throughout the day. So currently it's a lot of these conversations. Then you might have a review with your LT just to let them know of like how you're thinking about building the product and taking their feedback in. So it usually is a lot of discussions, brainstorming sessions, reviews, pitches to the LT. Yeah.
It's more like concising the lot of information to what exactly you require, and then streamlining into a beautiful product like that.
Correct. Yeah.
So you work around maybe 12, 14, 16?
No. Yeah. So that's one good thing of working in tech. No crazy hours. Typically, it's like maybe 10, 11 hours. And like it depends again on how the team is set.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to work a lot with like our team is like globally set. So we
Mm-hmm.
have some people working out of the US as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have like some night calls also. But mostly like my day is like 10 to 6, 7. But then some night calls at the end of the
Okay.
day. Yeah.
So according to you, what are the prime skill sets that a PM should have? Like
Sure.
most of it you have covered, but then
Yeah.
the top five.
Okay. So, like the first thing I'll say is like having a real curiosity for tech.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is simple, right? I mean, like as a product manager, you are working like on tech day in day out,
Mm-hmm.
and if you are not like amazed by what technology
Yeah,
can
yeah.
do, and like really excited, okay, I found a new
Passionate about
gadget in
it.
the market, you are excited about it. If you are not, I mean, like it's probably not the best choice for you.
Mm-hmm.
But like having a real curiosity for tech is, I'll say, the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then like coming to like skills, I'll say that you need to have like good communication skills,
Mm-hmm.
and like since you need to put your story through in
Yeah.
very few slides, for
Slides
example,
yeah.
to different stakeholders, you need to align everybody together. And as I said at the beginning, that you don't
Get
really
buy-in
have
from multiple stakeholders and all. Yeah,
correct, and you don't have authority. That's the most
yeah.
critical thing. So you don't have authority over engineering team which actually builds the product, let's say,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
So then you need to have that convincing skills also. So communication is a big
Key.
part of it. Apart from that, you like there are a lot of other skills, like research is one more.
Mm-hmm.
So like research is science and art combined, right? So
Yeah.
you like it builds over time as well. But
And
I mean, like you need to know how to understand and get insights out of data,
uh-huh.
and how to get insights out of your customer as well,
Right.
right?
Like whether they are really solving, whether you will be able to really solve that or not.
Right, correct. And I mean, like some level of technical knowledge is not a must, but it will help you for sure because you have to deal with tech
Both
and
tech
engineers
engineering.
day in day out.
So do you really code, or is it like you oversee the entire product at the end? Like
So we don't typically code per se,
mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, as I said, like having some understanding
Understanding
of
will be
how code works would be great, because then you can really brainstorm with your developers also,
mm-hmm.
and you can try and course correct them as well. Otherwise, so it's more like they are partners working with you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to understand your language to
Like either you want any modifications, or whether
exactly
this way is better or not.
correct.
Optimizing
Or I mean, yeah, or like are they trying to
this. Just
like
playing
just
it.
give you crazy estimates of some simple things, like
Agreed.
as simple as that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and not coding per se directly, but I mean, yeah, more like overseeing the like not. I won't say overseeing. Also, as I said, no authority,
It's
but
collaborating
with them. Yeah, that's the right word.
Yeah. So, like when PMs, when you happen to see all the life cycle and everything, and you happen to get, insights from customer to solve certain pain points, do you see evolving of this PM role in a safe zone, or is it in somewhere dicey?
Interesting. So actually, I am decently optimistic about how the PM role is evolving, and I am assuming your question is set in the current context of AI, maybe
yeah.
overtaking everything up. So yeah, I mean, like, so thing is, uh, like taking decisions out of data that you get from 50 different sources is one critical component of being a PM, right?
Yes.
And I'll say this, like AI will like assist a lot. It's already assisting me a lot in my day in day out. Like taking up all of the monotonous mechanical jobs. Like okay, I had put up a document. Now I want to create a presentation out of it.
Yeah.
So I am like fully plus to that. Yeah. Like my mechanical tasks are going away. Yeah. But the real
Creative
like beauty of getting insights out is, I think it will still be on people.
Yeah, like you tech people will really know that it is all from certain amount of data that they
Exactly.
so but when you happen to find new pain points, that will not have a new data.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
And like eventually humans are supposed to be the pilots, and AI is supposed to be the co-pilot, just assisting you. So I think AI will assist us, and the PM role will evolve from like just doing all of these mechanical things, like giving presentations day in day out. to maybe getting more time on thinking about what can the future of your
Future.
product be like. So I think it will, like, the role will evolve, but I am very optimistic about how it will
That's right.
evolve.
Like we happen to see more amount of hiring, and whether everyone want a convenience at their place, they need an application which is really growing at every day,
Exactly.
and
Correct. Yeah.
everyone needs a product, and we need a PM.
Correct.
Agree?
Yeah. So
So, like the next question is like, how does your growth trajectory look like after PM? What is the next role, and how do you, see your future in this
got
profession?
it. Got it. So like a typical growth trajectory, I'll just lay out the roles first.
Mhm.
So it can be like an associate product manager, product manager, senior product manager, then a group product manager,
Okay.
and then a director, partner,
Okay.
etc. And I mean, like the way the role evolves is,
Mhm.
like lower down in the ladder,
Mhm.
you are supposed to do more on ground things. You have a clearly defined problem statement, right? A small chunk of problem that you have to solve, that's defined clearly for you from above.
Yeah.
And then you have to, like, maybe do more of the
Ideation, and then getting something new.
yeah, I mean, so it's more simpler and defined. Yeah, your role at, like, at the bottom of the
It's like you
pyramid.
already know what to do, but
You
then
already know what to
when you
do,
grow
and
up in the ladder, you're
correct.
like, I need to create something new.
Exactly. So going up the ladder, the ambiguity of the problem increases, and you are supposed to define the problem statement also yourself.
Yeah.
Lower down the ladder, you are given a problem statement that you need to find the solution out of.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
that's how the role evolves over time. And I mean, like, as and when you grow more, you get a wider worldview of things happening around. So you are supposed to take in inputs from everything happening around in the market, and then decide the best direction for your product
Yeah.
as a whole, versus as a product manager, maybe you're working on one small feature on an app. So
Yeah.
that's how it changes.
So when you say like getting a wider view and all, so I have this generic question, like when we compare to most basic thing, like when I'm ordering food, so I happen to see Swiggy and Zomato.
Correct. Yeah.
So is it like you need to be up to date about what exactly the market is really doing, and cross deploying, and making it a more better feature, something like that?
Oh yeah, I think that's an interesting question. So we do a lot of compete research as well, right? And like the good thing is, so what like people say is usually adopt things that are working well, right?
Yeah, correct.
That's like Apple's philosophy also. Like there's no harm in copying your competitor if it's working well.
Yeah.
But of course, like all of that should be, like, at the end ingrained in, so like answering the question of what is the customer problem that you're solving.
Agreed.
So if your research is based onto that particular hypothesis, like maybe it might the answer might be, okay, that feature already exists in a competitor, we might also want to build that in a better way.
Yeah.
Or there you might find out some really unsolved problems that you will solve for being the first in the market. But I mean, like, solving the customer problem is at the core of it. Yeah.
So how does the compensation or benefits range for straight out of an NB school and a PM?
Okay. So like usually in like tech firms, like the compensation is your salary plus your ESOPs, mostly like bonus, etc. Side. So like the starting salary might, like, salary plus ESOPs might be around 25 to 30 lakhs. Like for a big company. And like as you grow, like let's say 5 years down the road, it can increase to maybe 60, 70 lakhs.
Okay.
And like, yeah, as the role grows the
So
salary
like,
range.
what is the usual time that from a PM you'll reach to a group PM, or like, is there any specific timeline, or is it more of I need to meet certain targets, like I need to generate some certain amount of revenue from this product or something like that?
Yeah. Okay. So that trajectory is also very different, again, based on the company.
Correct.
So I work for a very large company, and like typically in larger companies, the growth is very well defined, right? So in larger companies, from what I've seen, starting from a PM going all the way to a group product manager, typically takes like 12 to 15 years.
Okay.
Because a group product manager is supposedly like the owner of a product in its entirety. Yeah. And for a large company, a product, like owning a product in its entirety, means that you're owning a business in some way,
Yeah.
right? But for startups, it's like the growth is very fast. So I've seen like, like startups, maybe like Swiggy, Zomato. If you're doing well, you can go to a group product manager level in like say 5 to 8 years, maybe. I've seen
Okay.
that also.
Yeah,
So it's
like
very,
kind of
very good.
like when we compare the revenues of a established company, like a group product manager established company is also handling a
It's
much
a
larger
business of
chunk
its
of.
own. Exactly.
Agreed,
Yeah,
correct.
correct.
That makes sense. So, when it comes to the growth trajectory, like what are those key metrics that you happen to see? Like see the phase from ideation and then you develop and then you go to market. Like you happen to have it's long duration, right? Like what
Correct.
is that
Yeah.
one metric that every company will say like whether my PM is doing good or not?
Got it. Okay. Um, so again, I don't have a one word
Yeah,
answer
yeah,
for
agreed,
you,
agreed. Yeah,
but like the way PMs are judged changes across levels.
mm-hmm.
Initially, as I said, right, you are
Given.
supposed, given a problem statement, you're supposed to execute.
Mm-hmm.
So, like the way you are handling challenges, okay, the engineering team said, oh, this will take a lot
Lot
longer. How do you like
optimize it.
traverse all of these challenges?
Mhm.
That's what is looked at. Like, are you bogged down by these challenges?
Or
Because
you
like,
find a workaround.
or you find a workaround. So that's very simple, like the way they are judging.
Okay.
And it's not typically like, as you said, right? Matlab, revenue goal was this, did you get it or not?
Yeah.
But as you go up, you are then judged based on the metric that you had set yourself for your product. So let's say you set a revenue metric that we'll get $100 million more. Whether you're meeting that or not becomes the judgment rather
Okay.
than like seeing how you're working on tasks, maybe.
Okay.
So that's how it changes.
That makes sense. So, and according to you, like, see, you happen to have work life balance, you happen to have a good amount of salary, and you get crazy challenges every day, and it's all interesting.
Yeah.
So, what is the craziest thing, and what is that one? There is a disadvantage of this role.
Got it. Okay. So they like, as I said, right? It's the job involves interacting a lot with a lot of stakeholders, right?
Correct.
And the PM effectively is the driver of the product.
Agreed.
And you know what you realize being the driver of the product, the fame that you get, like when the product succeeds, is typically for the entire team, right? It's like the engineering team, the design team, the product team, everybody came together, rallied together to deliver success.
Yeah.
But if something goes wrong, that's on a PM. So you are yelled up on a lot by all stakeholders. Engineering will be unhappy by the timelines that you have promised. Design team would be unhappy because you are making a compromise for the design to deliver it faster to the user.
Okay.
Then your customers will be
Like
always on you. So
agreed. So it's like if Indian team wins, it's like team
it's a team
effort.
effort. Yeah.
If loses, captaincy.
Captain is at
Agreed.
fault.
Yeah.
So that's true.
Totally makes sense, and we can feel that.
Yeah.
So like so just to start from basics, maybe like you might have studied multiple courses and all. So are you really applying something of those courses right in your job day in day out?
Right. Okay.
What are those top three maybe?
Okay. So what I'll say is there's like no course per se which can teach you product management. It's mostly your learnings on the job that help you the most. But there are a lot of skills, right, that you need. So maybe statistics is one good course, that you need to understand data well and figure out insights from that. So that helps in that particular part of it.
Okay.
Then there are a lot of these like strategy courses and like communication courses that we had, right? They help with your soft skills aspect. Even things like organizational behavior has suddenly become interesting for me because like I never thought that organization behavior would be interesting, but what I see is like at the end of the day, you are dealing with humans, not machines.
Agreed.
And there are a lot of things that you need to think through on like how the other person might take what you're saying. So that also aids maybe. Then there are like some interesting AI courses that I had done, like AI marketing, for example, that like again not directly applying to my role, but
portion of it like
helps me structure my thinking better. Yeah. So that's how I say. Even in my undergrad also, like a lot of the computer science courses, etc., giving me the basics of like how systems work. That helps conversing with engineers. Yeah. Even like even data structures, algorithms courses, they are like good way to,
To
like,
understand the core algorithm
yeah,
of your any
brainstorm with your
brainstorm in
developers the
developers.
best way possible. So yeah, I mean, so there are a lot of courses that help you. There's no one course I'll say
Mhm.
is like will make you the greatest product manager that ever lived. So
Correct.
yeah.
So, do you have any regrets that I would have, if at all I would have studied this, it
Hmm.
might have, like already have said that AI for marketing and all, but we happen to not have all these kind of courses in our
Uh,
traditional education system. Let's not
yeah.
go there, but then yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, according to you, like you have done your undergrad, then soon after you wanted to explore, so you did postgrad. So, is this the right path to become a PM, or is there like we happen to see people working in a tech firm, then doing an MBA? Like, what is that difference, and is there any better way?
Got it. Okay. Um, like what I'll say is
Mm-hmm.
career trajectories are very subjective to individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And like this worked out for me. So, okay, from what I've seen in the industry, typically product managers, like the product managers that I've seen, they typically do have B school degrees and they have some work experience also. And I mean, I don't think it's related to you having a B school degree that, you'll get a lot of skills,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more about having the maturity to deal with people.
Yeah.
That's the important part. And I mean, you can, so there's also a trajectory wherein you come straight out of your undergrad
Undergrad.
and then join like a tech company
Mm-hmm.
as an associate product manager. Those roles have also started coming up in India. They are not a lot out there still. The
Yeah.
easiest path is to go through a B school degree and then get into a PM role.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, there's a genuine possibility that if you're interested, you can get some of these APM roles right
After
out
the
of
undergrad.
undergrad as well.
Okay.
And like coming to whether experience helps. So like personally, I think as I said, there are some B school courses that can help, but like if I would have been able to work for those 2 years as a PM, I
Mm-hmm.
might have learned a lot more
More than.
that's related to my field.
Okay. Yeah.
B school did help me get a lot of perspective on other angles as well, which helps because
Yeah.
you need to deal with marketing, finance,
And yeah,
etc.
business oriented.
Business, so you need to be business oriented. But I feel I could have learned those on the job as well, and maybe have learned them better.
Okay.
So if
Mhm.
it's a possibility for you to get a job right out of undergrad into a PM role, that's amazing. Otherwise, the easier path is maybe to get a B school degree and then get
Okay.
into product
So then it's like if currently someone working at a tech firm as a SDE or some other role,
management. Right.
so they can switch to PM roles by understanding these skill sets of whether they can develop something by understanding the pain point, right? Right.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So like going back to casual discussion, like you happen to have all your finances, and you might be living in a metro when you're
Yeah.
working for a established company or most of the startups, right? So do you have any plans of your finances, or how do you manage them?
Got it. So I have recently started getting into like financial.
Independent.
I mean, like yeah, into managing my financials better maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I do try to invest a hefty chunk of my salary directly,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm exploring a few avenues. I've tried the stock market, I've
Mm-hmm.
tried mutual funds, I've tried US stock market as well.
Okay.
Also, like since we get a lot of ESOPs, we
Yeah,
already
yeah.
have a good
Certain amount.
holding on
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
US market.
yeah.
Um, so I mean, like yeah, I'm trying to see like what's the best risk benefit
Risk
instrument for
analysis.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm learning the
yeah.
101,
One
if
over.
you would say so.
Yeah.
And I mean, like so if possible,
Mm-hmm.
like I try to do something like this, that let's say my monthly expenses are like 40-50K.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, I try to invest the rest of my salary directly into
To
mutual
something,
funds and
some
a few
investment
SIPs.
instruments.
Exactly.
That's it. Mm.
So like the way I see it, if you don't have money in your bank account, you can't spend it. So the first of
It's
the
like
month
ensure bank balance is zero,
is
such that
as low as
you
possible.
will
So my
cut
bank
down
balance,
everything.
yeah, exactly.
So that's a good way of seeing through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
So like when you happen to see all these expenses and all everything, so do you wish to have any plans of like, I want to, retire early rather than working like our previous generation, like till 60 or
Okay.
55, whatever?
Okay. So, I mean, like the way I see retire early is having the independence to work on whatever you want.
Okay.
I don't see it as not working because that's very boring. So I don't know how people retire and then just sit
Okay.
at home all day long.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, having that financial independence to do whatever you want to do, and that I definitely do want to chase. And
Okay.
I mean, like I've not set like some goal that okay,
But this
like
age
age
or
X I'll retire,
Mhm.
but I mean I do want to see how fast I can get to a point wherein like all my obligations are met properly, but
Mhm.
I have that cushion to be like to
Yeah.
try and experiment on a few things.
So, do
So
you wish to start something of your own product, or like, see, there is high chance of your mind going to, like, when you happen to have multiple conversations with multiple customers
right,
and all,
yeah,
you happen to research more and understand that I can easily deploy this onto this,
right,
like
yeah,
plug and play types.
correct,
So you might have multiple thoughts in your mind, like, I can do this, I can do that.
yeah.
So, do you wish to go from a well-established company to start your own firm, a product-based firm, or do you wish to be like, no, let me go to a different startup and work and then
Hmm.
start your own? How do you think?
I mean, like again, I'm more of a go with the flow type of a person.
That's great.
So if something does come up,
Mhm.
and I'm fully convinced with the idea that I really want to pursue this, I have the right people with
Mhm.
me. I'll probably try and do that as well.
Mhm.
I've not thought through that, but I mean, like the higher chance is probably me trying to work for a startup first and then going that route
Okay.
if required. I mean, like again, it's I know startups are all the hype right now,
Mhm.
and like it's again like I mean, like if I feel that I have found the right business opportunity, I'll definitely try for it.
Okay.
But yeah, not thought through it.
Cool.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I have like yeah, my next 5 years is
It's
very
already
volatile, so it
like
keeps changing
go
every
with the
2 years.
flow.
Go with the flow, yeah.
Okay. So, like when you happen to see, multiple products coming into the market, and like when compared to a product firm and a service-based firm, like service-based firm already know that they have a huge amount of clients who are giving them lots and lots of money.
Right, yeah,
But product is purely based upon the work that you're going to deliver.
right,
So, like there is quite a bit of ambiguity that what's going to happen. So,
exactly.
like, is there any mitigation that PMs or this role can do in coming days that we do have a sustained, or I won't say safer, but less risk zone.
Right. Oh, okay. So again, this is where research becomes very crucial.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, from what I've seen, typically large companies are more risk averse,
Okay.
right? So there are a lot of processes set up
Okay.
for this exact same reason that you might like
End up into something
you
which you
might
haven't.
end up with doing something very risky.
Okay.
So because you have like so many experienced people
We have
giving
seen
you
multiple,
feedback, right?
yeah,
They have seen multiple technological disruptions
instances
coming
or
in,
failures
etc.
or whatsoever.
Right. So that always helps, and having the right research, like talking to the right customers,
Hmm.
um, doing the right market analysis, all of that helps like reducing that risk, as you said. But I mean, like risk is the name of the game, right? If you are not willing to take the risk, then
Yeah, there is
like why are
nothing.
you doing the
Yeah,
business, right?
correct.
So I mean, the good thing is there's like inherent acknowledgement that you are in a role which has certain risk associated with it, and
100%.
you like whatever you might project at the start of the product development,
Mm-hmm.
that might or might not be met.
Yeah.
But like there are always ways to course correct and try and
Mm-hmm.
achieve those goals. So the thing is, like as I said, there's acknowledgement that there's risk involved. So nobody will come and be on your head like, okay, you had said you will say get us 20 million.
20
You
million,
have
yeah.
gotten us only 10 million. So where is the 10 million?
Okay.
Typically that doesn't happen.
Okay.
And there's that cushion, and people are supportive enough to bring you in the right direction. So that's
That's
all.
great. So, like, what is that one single advice that you want to give to the viewers who are currently in their undergrad and wish to aim, like, I want to be PM of either a startup or my own product
Right.
or a well-established company.
Got it. Okay. Um, so yeah, the first thing I'll say is be curious. Be curious about what's happening in the world right now. What's happening in the tech world right now. Like for me, for example, I've always been very interested in like watching all of these tech reviews and tech channels, etc. And that gives you like a good perspective of what's happening in the tech world, right? And keeps you curious. Your friend got a new interesting mobile phone. Just go test it out. I mean, like that's just very simple. Try to be
The
curious.
easy way to understand.
Easy way to understand. Second is, I mean, I don't know if like everybody does this, but like to understand the business aspect of it, just do like mock business analysis. So you go to a restaurant, try and see. I keep doing this.
Okay.
Go to a restaurant, try and see, what can their business be like? What could have they done to improve that business? Like any business, might not be tech in general, but just see,
Just to get the business acumen of
business
anything,
acumen
whether
of
you are
any,
able to
yeah.
apply something different which can be learned from somewhere.
Correct, yeah. And I mean, like, the interesting part is like, I mean, the scale doesn't matter. You can start anywhere. You don't need a team. You don't need anybody. Even if you, for example, you're doing a simple project, you're developing an app. You are a product manager in some sense, right?
Yes.
Because you're trying to see, okay, what all features should I build,
Correct.
right? How the design should look like, etc., etc. So I mean, like, get your hands dirty.
Okay.
And like in this world, like when I was in my undergrad, like AI hadn't advanced this much.
True.
In today's world where ChatGPT can code for you, why not go and experiment with it? Like it's super simple. I mean, like, yeah, you can just try and build a app, let's say.
Yeah.
That can help you, get your hands dirty. And getting your hands dirty is the only way to learn product management. You like there are books, there are resources. They can help you understand what product management might look like. But until you go and try it for yourself, you'll never know. So yeah, get your hands dirty.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Meet, for
No
your
problem.
valuable time. It was nice talking.
Thank you so much, Mahendra, for having me, and thank you for this interesting conversation. And I hope I could be of some help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for all the viewers who have watched this episode of DOL. We would love to hear your feedback through comments. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to DOL. If you have any further queries, please reach out to us through email, LinkedIn, or TopMate. We have attached the links below in the description. Thanks a lot.